iFanboy at New York Comic Con 2012 is brought to you by Seagate.
I'm here with John McLaughlin and Bill Paxton. How you guys doing?
Hey, we're doing great. It's quite a scene here. It's total bedlam.
So, tell people what you're doing here.
We're here promoting a graphic novel that I produced that John wrote and a guy named Mick Reinman did the art for. It's called 7 Holes for Air. It's been a project that John wrote a few years ago and Mick's been working on for a couple of years. We thought this would be a great place to debut it. It's available now as on digital. And it's a very unique and original piece. It's got a lot of action, and I think people are going to really dig it.
So can you tell us what sort of the story is?
Oh, it's a man, not too old, like 50, a construction worker, a hardworking, no-nonsense guy who finds out he's very sick. But it's his story told not only through his real life, but as a spaghetti western at the same time.
So now how did you get involved with this?
Fucking rocks. I've known John for a few years. We got together on a project years ago, and this was a script that he wrote on spec. Now, John has also just written Kung Fu for Legendary, and Legendary, I brought John to them for me to direct. And so this was something that I loved this script. We eventually would like to produce it and make it into a film. But I love this story so much, and I found it to be such an original idea that I wanted it out there some way. So we did it so we could get the story out there. Now, if it turns into a movie, great. If it doesn't, it still exists as a graphic novel so people can enjoy it, especially all the guys, everybody on iFan will totally get into it.
So how did you find your sort of entry into the comic book world?
Well, I've seen how graphic novels have become the vogue thing. A lot of the movie studios in Hollywood have started to make films. I just did a movie with Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg called Two Guns, based on a graphic novel. I'm doing a movie right now with Tom Cruise called All You Need Is Kill, that's based on a pop novel. I don't think it is a graphic novel yet, but I'm sure it will be. Yeah. And I always loved graphic novels, and I loved comic books growing up, and I thought, yeah, basically they're storyboards. Yeah. And it helps me as a filmmaker kind of visualize it. But again, I thought this could be really cool as a graphic novel, and it's turned out great. It's pretty sweet.
So now, when you originally had it as a script and it became a comic, what was the transition like from script to comic book?
Well, it's funny. I really didn't have to do anything. And when you write a script, it's like you're always afraid to sell it because you know as soon as you do, they're going to just screw around with it. And Bill, had this great artist, Mick, and Bill loves the script and loves the written word. So really, Mick just riffed on, he made his own images. We didn't end up doing a graphic novel script.
You did it the Marvel style.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah, that's the Marvel
yeah.
style.
So it was probably a backwards way to do it, and it might have been easier toward the end if we had done it, the normal way people do it. But I'm really happy the way it came out. It's amazing.
So now, where'd you get Mick? Where'd he come from, the artist?
Mick Reinman's an artist. He just happens to be a friend of mine. My dad was a great art collector, and I grew up mostly going to art galleries and plays and movies as opposed to like sporting events. And I just thought Mick would be a great choice. He's kind of a man's man himself. The story of the protagonist in this, he's kind of the ultimate man's man. And he's also a great figurative artist. Right. And I wanted to turn him loose. These panels are, each page of drawings is kind of a work of art in itself. And, it wasn't done in a commercial way. It was really done kind of for the pure love of the script. But it all started with his script. The script is incredibly nuanced. John is a very modest fellow, but he is one of the great screenwriters that I've ever had the pleasure to know and work with. And that includes Jim Cameron and a lot of guys I've come up with. And I just thought, God, we got to turn this into something that we can get out there. Now, I think it's going to make a great movie someday, and I'm hoping to direct it. But regardless, again, this is a great piece of writing, and people are going to really, really respond to it, I think.
Right. So now you've done a lot of screenplay work. You've won big awards. You've also written comics.
Yes, I've been writing Youngblood. Scott Lobdell was going to write it, and he couldn't. He got a job at DC, and he asked me to do it for him. And it's difficult. It's a whole different world.
What do you guys think of this whole crazy environment that you're in?
It's total insanity. I love it. You know, to see this many people come out and supporting all these things, and
Supporting art.
It's absolutely supporting art. And I grew up in a little town outside of Fort Worth, and I only dreamed of coming to something like this.
Yeah, and now you've got a project here.
It's pretty cool.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
Hey, thank you.
Josh, I'm on this really weird Wi-Fi signal, and it's got all these really strange German industrial movies. They're all streaming right to it.
That's my Seagate GoFlex satellite.
Oh, it's you!
You can keep up to 500 gigabytes of movies, music, anything you want on here, and stream it to your device with its own Wi-Fi signal.
You just get the free Seagate GoFlex satellite app, and you can stream all your content to your iPad, to your Android devices, whatever you want, so you can get your German industrial movie fix.
Industrial, that's what we'll call it. I gotta remember to lock this thing.
Yeah. So it streams Wi-Fi, it's got a great battery, lasts a long time, great for road trips, right?
It's a really cool little device, and you can pretty much put anything on it, and you'll have more stuff on it than you'll ever have time to watch. It's good for kids, good for all that stuff.
Plane rides.
All of these things. You can, if you are an iFanboy viewer, you can get 10% off. Where can they do that?
They can go to Seagate.com/iFanboy and sign up there and get 10% off buying the Seagate GoFlex hard drive. And we thank them for their support of iFanboy at New York Comic Con.
It's really mostly just kids' movies.
I know. I tried to make it cooler.
I know, I'm not edgy.
No.
Sorry.